Oh, I'm pretty excited to show you guys this. Yeah, a new phone. A new phone. Last year we had the opportunity to show you a couple phones actually from POCO, a brand here in Canada that not a lot of people actually know about, but I've used them all here with our cell service. Works fine. And the M3, which was the first one that we had a chance to review, actually at its price point, I was literally just blown away with what you got for that amount of money. It's like they were taking pretty high tiered specs and just making them so budget friendly that really the majority of us could afford this phone. And it looks like they're kind of doing it again this year with the new POCO M4 Pro. Now, before we get into taking a look at this box, this is what it got sent in. There is also a POCO M4 Pro 5G, and I think you kind of have to make that decision because I don't see where it talks about the cellular here, but these seem like, as far as I can tell, two different phones. The 5G, of course, having the bonus of 5G, if that's something that's important to you. Not for me. It's great, but it's not that important. Or you get some updated specs with this POCO M4 Pro non-5G that maybe worth looking at this one instead. So we're gonna crack open this box. We're gonna look at the specs of this new POCO M4 Pro phone and set it up. And that's gonna be today's video. This is like a first look at it, and then we'll come back in a couple days after we've had a chance to play with it and give a final review on things like the camera, the speed, just usability. So, yeah, I'm excited. Okay, so let's do this first. Actually, let's do this first. So POCO M4 Pro, maximize your fun. That's what they're telling us. And I'm going to just talk about some of the specs right here that you may be like, really, on a budget phone. Now, I don't know the exact price of this, especially here in Canada, but my guess would be US dollar wise, somewhere in that $200 to $250 price point, which is amazing when you think of going to flagship phones, which can be $1,000 plus. So you could buy like 4 of these. So here we go. Display, 6.43 inch, full HD. It's an AMOLED dot display. So the 5G version of this, I believe, was LCD. Now, I'm not 100% sure, but I believe this is the first time that we're getting AMOLED in one of the M series phones, so that's really good. It's a 2400 by 1080 full HD plus, they consider it, display. It's a DCI P3 color range, which is fantastic. Contrast ratio comes in at 4.5 million to 1. This one is also up here in regards to nits because I believe the previous one was only about 400 or 500. This one's coming in at 700 nits, but can peak all the way up to 1,000 nits, so considerably brighter. You're looking at a 90 hertz refresh rate, so not quite getting up to that 120 hertz, but definitely going to be much smoother than the 60 that a lot of us are seeing, especially on budget phones. Usually we see a 60 hertz, but we're getting that 90, which is nice, and a touch sampling of 180 hertz. And for those of you that aren't really sure what that touch sampling means, it's basically the response time of that interaction between the physical hitting the screen and movement. So that delay between the movement of your hand and how the screen actually responds to it. So 180 hertz is quite fast. It is using Gorilla Glass 3. Has sunlight display and reading mode 3.0 and eye care display. So these are going to be things again for being able to switch color temperatures just to help benefit your eyes, which, hey, we're all looking at these displays for a lot of our day. So being able to help our eyes is going to be good. Now, some of the important ones for me And again, we'll go in a little deeper when we actually do the part 2 of this video where we take these out. So on the 5G version of this phone, they have a 50 megapixel primary camera. This one, they've bumped it up to 64 megapixels. And it's an f1.8, so that should allow a lot of light in. And again, 64 megapixels. It also now has an ultra wide camera. This one is an 8 megapixel, which is plenty for the majority of us that are using, especially a budget phone, to get a 64 meg primary and an 8 meg wide. And they're throwing in a 2 megapixel macro camera. So highest, no, kind of a throw in, yeah. But you know what? It gives you some room to play, and you may not have to go out and buy yourself one of those little extra adapters if you don't want to. The front camera, the selfie camera, 16 megapixels at an f2.4. Now, just to go back, the 8 megapixel ultra wide f2.2, so it does need a bit more light, but you will probably also get more light because it's shooting wide. The 2 megapixel is an f2.4, and again, the front 2.4 as well. 5,000 milliamp battery, 33 watt fast charging, and in the box, it comes with a 33 watt fast charger. Yeah. Performance-wise, we're looking at a MediaTek G96 octa-core CPU with up to 2.05 gigahertz, ARM Mali G57 MC2 GPU, coming with 6 gigs of RAM, 128 gig, or an 8 gig 256 gig storage. I believe I have the 6 gig 128. And of course, because it has the ability to put a micro SD card inside it, you can expand this all the way up to 1 terabyte. It is running MIUI 13, which is kind of their interface for Android. And we have a couple dimensions here, 179 grams, side fingerprint sensor. Color-wise, it comes in power black. Oh yes, cool blue, POCO yellow. Now, POCO yellow is what I had in my previous phone, the POCO M3, which is this guy here, so you guys can see what the yellow kind of looks like. And I'm just currently charging it right now because, well, I haven't used it in a while. Connectivity, so here we go. Yeah, so this one is not 5G, so you guys can see here connectivity, Bluetooth 5, Wi-Fi, of course, 802.11, A, B, G, N, and AC, dual SIM, which is nice. Network bands 2G, 3G, 4G, and no 5G. And again, liquid cool technology. Yeah. And here's some other things. NFC, IR blaster, 3.5mm headphone jack for those that want that headphone jack back. Dual speakers, and IP53 splash proof protection. Now, the one thing it doesn't have is of course, it doesn't have the 5G. Big deal. And it looks like it doesn't have wireless charging. So, a couple things. All right, let's take a look at it. POCO M4. It's the box actually, surprisingly, the box actually has a fair bit of weight. When I got that little box there, which I'm going to probably use for other stuff, I was like, what is in here? Because it seems heavy, but maybe just it's that charger. It's that charger, I'm telling you. It's that charger that they give you. All right, here we go. And I believe they all come in this yellow box, but you will notice on the other one, it'll say POCO M4 Pro 5G. So there is a reason, and I had watched some reviews on the 5G, and they're like, why are you saying that it's 5G? I get it, there's 5G. Now we know why, because there's a non-5G version. So you guys have to make that decision. Is the 5G important, or is the other specs important? For me, the service that I even have for my cellular, I don't even have the 5G version, so I'd rather get all the additional specs. Oh, more yellow. More yellow. Okay, before we get to the phone, we get a little box. And that little box has... Okay, so first off, it does have your SIM card remover tool right there, which is nice. You get manual stuff, more manually stuff. I do like with the POCO stuff that they do give you just a little case. It's nothing fancy, but you know what? It's a case. It does its job. It's going to help keep scratches and stuff off that. And if it drops, it's not probably the strongest case in the world, but way better than having no case. There's the phone itself. We'll just put that right there. What color did I get? Oh, I got the black. It's kind of the color I was hoping for. And they say black, but I'm going to say it's a grayish black, maybe? Grayish black? What else do we get? All right, we get a super nice long cable, which is awesome. That's going to be USB-A to USB-C. Cool. Now, I got a European version of the charger, so just be aware. Luckily for me, I have plenty of adapters, but depending on where you buy this from, again, I don't have any links to it yet because it's not out as of yet. It hasn't, as of time of filming, it hasn't even been announced. So they will probably, when stores get it, you'll probably be able to get a version for North America, a version for Europe, a version for wherever. Right now, this is it. But it's 33 watt, and I have adapters, so we're still good. We're still good. And I think that's it. Yeah, there it is. POCO M4 Pro. There it is, 90 hertz, FHD, AMOLED, 64 megapixel, high resolution, triple camera. And I believe, I'm not 100% sure, but I believe the 5G version is only a dual camera as well. So it has the ultra wide and they have a 50 versus the 64, but I don't think it has the macro. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure. 33 watt pro fast charging, 5,000 milliamp battery. And the other thing to be aware of when they talk about this battery charging, a few things here. It says that the battery with the 5,000 should get you about 2 days. Again, that's give or take how you're going to use an actual phone. If you're going to be sitting recording video for hours at a time, you're not going to get two days, but it is what it is. And it does say that it should be able to charge in approximately an hour. Again, give or take. And that's using the 33 watts. So if you're using like a 20 watt or something like that, you're not going to get necessarily that speed. But yeah, lots of great information here. So let's open it. I love the sound. I love the sound. That's coming off. That sticker right there, that's whatever that is, that's coming off. And that is, honestly, you know, I've seen some budget phones and you're like, oh, it feels cheap. This does not feel cheap. And here, oh, it's starting already. Probably already got finger smudges on it, see it? There we go, POCO. So we're gonna go through the setup. And I'll get a bit of an idea on just how it feels, but they are a nice feeling phone. The back is a little different. I'll compare it to the M3 in a second. Oh, there we go. MIUI. I'll kind of fast forward through some of this. There we go. Pop. So we're going to go, it says United Kingdom. Is there English United States? Let's go there. Sure. Oops. I guess I got to agree to something. Checking for SIM card. No. We're going to just go ahead anyway. Connect to a network. Yep. Now, I'm not someone that uses Android a lot, but it's got a fairly, like even the actual bezel around it is fairly thin. It's actually, I would say, thinner in size than if you go back like a couple generations, like even with an iPhone. Like that's a nice thin, even at the top. A little thicker, of course, at the bottom, but not too bad. So copy apps and data. I'm going to say don't copy. All right. And I'm just going to sign in with my googly stuff here. This is probably the longest part of the whole thing, is just getting your Google stuff set up. Surprisingly, though, this whole process, honestly, if you're decent with using just setting up a new phone, it probably took 3 minutes. Like, that's not bad at all. And then you get to this getting your phone ready screen. All right, so we do have a set. I'm going to do a fingerprint. So we can do pattern, pin, password. Let's do password. Yeah. Add your fingerprint. All right, so there we go, done. Sweet. Setup complete. You're ready. You see that? Just in case you weren't aware, I'm now ready to rock. Yeah. Boom. Loading apps. Yeah, so from start to finish, honestly, I think if you're decent with moving around on a phone, 5-10 minutes for sure, not bad at all. And again, any kind of updates or downloads is going to be dependent on your internet speed. So if you have slow internet, it may take longer. If you have fast, then it may be faster. But really, I think for $250, somewhere in that range, you're getting an amazing piece of hardware for the price, for sure, right? Like that's a good looking phone. Good looking phone for sure. Hey, you guys see that? Good looking phone. Yes, indeed. Oh, we're up. Here we go. Perfect. All right, so here it is. We're not going to do a lot here. Again, this is a first look and just going through the setup. But swipe to switch between control. Sure. Okay. Let's just crank that brightness up. That's what I really wanted to see, because 700 nits, right? Oh yeah, there we go. That's bright. Oh, that's a lovely screen, and nice resolution. Really clean. So, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to play around with this phone for the next few days, and we'll release a part 2. Again, this was a unboxing and kind of first impressions, and I think this is going to be a killer little phone for sure, especially for someone on a budget that's looking for a nice camera, fast phone, and a good size with a nice screen. Oh yeah, for sure. I'm already getting little notifications, and things are updating and downloading in the background. If you guys can see that, hey, it's doing its job. All right, guys. Like, comment, share, subscribe, hit that little notification bell, and we'll make sure to be putting up a follow-up video soon. Hopefully in the next day or two. All right, my friends, I'm out, and POCO M4 Pro. Yeah, super nice. Later.